University of Leicester MBA webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos. I'm the admissions manager at Stafford Associates, and joining me this evening all the way from the university is Dr. Peter Rodgers. Good evening to you, Dr. Peter.
Good evening, Helen. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, I can see there's quite a lot of you that have joined us already. Good evening. And how are we going to conduct this webinar this evening is I'm briefly going to introduce you to Stafford and what we do. I'm then going to hand you over to Dr. Peter, who's going to discuss the program. And right at the end of the webinar, you will have the chance to type your questions. And Dr. Peter and myself will be able to answer those. Do take note that a lot of the questions would probably be identical, if not similar. So I am going to be grouping them together so that we can obviously get through the webinar quite quickly. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Associates? Well, Stafford Associates was established in 1993, and we were the very first resource centre provider for distance learning education in the Middle East. Now, we are currently the resource centre for 5 UK universities, one of which is the University of Leicester. We do offer a variety of programs ranging from certificates to diplomas, bachelor's, master's, right through until doctorates. So we do have a program for everyone's needs. Our function here is to provide administrative support, and the reason why you are all here this evening is because you have been in touch with one of our academic consultants, and the function is obviously to assist you throughout your application process and get you that very important unconditional offer from the university. I'm now going to hand you over to Dr. Peter, and I shall be joining you towards the end of the webinar. Over to you, Dr. Peter.
Thank you very much, Helen, for the very warm and kind invitation. And again, thank you very much, everybody, for coming this evening. As Helen said, my name is Dr. Peter Rodgers. I'm the Associate Professor in Strategy at the University of Leicester School of Business, and I'm also the Programme Director of the University of Leicester's MBA. So today, as Helen said, for maybe about 25 minutes, I'll be talking to you about the MBA program that we have at the University of Leicester, how it works, the different parts and components of it. Before that, I'm going to give a little bit of a brief introduction about the university itself. The University of Leicester was founded nearly 100 years ago in 1921, after the end of the First World War, and it was awarded very proudly its Royal Charter in 1957. We're very proud in terms of university rankings. We're very proud to say that we're amongst 2% of the top universities in the world, according to the QS World University Rankings, and we've been given 5 stars for excellence in terms of learning and teaching. Also, in terms of a UK, British context, in terms of our research expertise and excellence, we're considered part of a group of 25 universities that have excellence in terms of research, and this is being provided by the Times Higher Education, which is a very respected educational body in the UK. Moving on to the MBA that we provide at the University of Leicester, this is predominantly the majority of the learning is what we call distance learning. This is learning using the internet like we are doing today. I'm talking to you from Leicester in the UK, and you're based obviously in UAE. So distance learning, okay, so you do not need to come to the campus every day, every week, every month. You can do the vast majority of your learning via distance learning, via using the internet, okay. The Leicester MBA was launched in 1989. And it was one of the first AMBER accredited distance learning MBA courses in the world. As a result of that, we now have over 12,000 Leicester MBA graduates, our alumni, throughout the world, in all the different continents of the world, in Asia, America, Europe, the Middle East, like yourselves, Australia, New Zealand, Latin America. We have MBA students who've graduated over the last nearly 30 years, located all over the world. Okay. As a result of that, the MBA is truly international in its outlook. Our student body is truly international, and this gives tremendous opportunities. It gives tremendous opportunities in terms of learning, whilst you're learning in distance learning with students from different parts of the world, and then also with people coming from different parts of the world, you have opportunities for global networking as well. Lots of our students come back to us and tell us how being an MBA, doing the MBA and then staying in touch with contacts around the world has helped them in their business and professional careers going forwards. Okay, so what we try and do in terms of the MBA program at Leicester, we try and bring academic insight from leading international academics who are based at the University of Leicester. We try and bring their skills, their expertise, and we try and bring that into the classroom, into the distance learning classroom within the MBA. We're trying to provide you with the necessary skill sets, professional skills, in order for you to become the global leaders, business leaders of tomorrow. So that's kind of part of the wider aim of the MBA. In terms of practicalities, and these are kind of very common questions we have from students, flexibility for us is extremely important. We fully understand that, I'm sure yourselves, myself, we are all busy people. The world we live in today is a very busy place where we have families, we have work, we have bosses, we have wives, we have husbands, we have lots of different commitments. We have children, I forgot, I've got a little baby at the moment. Okay, we have all these different commitments for our time. Okay, so what we need to provide in terms of our learning on the Leicester MBA is a program which is flexible for your needs. And as a result of that, I'll talk about it in more detail today, is you have the opportunity to learn to, for example, download your lectures, and you can read and learn your lectures when you want to. You can do this in the office, you can do this at home, you can do this when you want to. This kind of flexibility our students find is extremely important. Okay. Finally, in terms of management thinking, the MBA provides you with a very broad range of core business activities from the world of business and management. So you'll have the opportunity to learn about entrepreneurship, human resource management, finance, marketing, entrepreneurship, enterprise. And then further on in the degree, you'll have the opportunity to specialize, whether you want to specialize into an area of marketing, into an area of finance, or into an area of HRM. Okay. In terms of the Leicester MBA, you'll receive an MBA, which is the Masters of Business Administration. We are accredited by AMBA, the Association of MBAs. This is an extremely well-known accreditation body, which essentially is a stamp of quality. Lots of MBAs around the world are striving to receive this kind of stamp of equality. So the accreditation of AMBA for us is extremely important, and it's a demonstration of the excellence that we have in our product. In terms of the qualifications, as I said, you'll receive the Leicester MBA, and you'll also receive a qualification which is a Chartered Management Institute Diploma in Strategic Management and Leadership. The Chartered Management Institute is a UK-based but a very global organisation which promotes business and management education around the world. So gaining this diploma again gives you an opportunity to widen your CV. It also gives the CMI, the Chartered Management Institute, gives lots and lots of resources in terms of soft skill development, in terms of developing your CV, developing interview skills, developing communication and interactive skill sets. You can take part and participate in these skill sets whilst you're doing your MBA at the University of Leicester, and also importantly for one whole year after completion of the MBA. Okay. Number 3, specialisms. As I said, you'll have the opportunity to specialize in finance, marketing, and also human resource management during the duration of the program. Okay. I've just brought up the next slide, which is called course structure. In terms of the question, how long does the University of Leicester's MBA last? The duration is 30 months. Okay, so we have 5 months of 6 months each, 5 modules of 6 months each. So in module 1, which is months 1 to 6, you'll learn about managing and developing people and organizations. This will be an introduction to the MBA, an introduction to developing your professional skill sets, and you'll learn about organizational behavior, human resource management, leadership and change management. Okay. Following this chronologically, in months 7 to 12, so the last 6 months of year 1, you will undertake module 2, which is called Managing Value Creation Processes from Idea to Market. You'll learn about marketing, operations management, innovation, and entrepreneurship. The third core module, module 3, is called Managing Finances and Strategic Decision Making. You'll be involved with finance, management, accounting, economics, but also some things like strategy, which is where I teach on the MBA, ethics, corporate social responsibility and sustainability. So some extremely important parts about looking beyond what is the meta strategy of a firm and how does it engage in an increasingly challenging business environment in today's world. As you can see, after the completion of module 3, you'll have an option in module 4. You can choose to take one of these 3 specialisms. You can choose to either concentrate on marketing and learn about communications, brands and marketing. You could concentrate on finance and corporate policy and strategy, or you could focus on managing human resources strategically. Okay. Following this, in the final 6 months of the MBA, you'll be doing module 6, which is organizational research, consultancy methods, the MBA project. Here, you have the opportunity of either doing a traditional MBA dissertation, or you could, for example, develop a business plan. This could be a really good idea if you're thinking about developing a business, or you might, for example, undertake a very thorough and incisive company project. And of course, this company project could be the company in which you're working in at the moment. So at the same time that you're doing the MBA and doing this work for a company project for the MBA, this also might be a useful piece of work that you could do internally within your company and, for example, impress the boss. Okay. Finally, module 5, you'll see underlying all of these is what we call the learning and professional development portfolio. Within the portfolio, this will be an opportunity throughout the course of the MBA to provide some critical reflection on your learning. Okay. And within this, there'll be opportunities for careers development as well. Within the MBA, you'll have opportunities to go on coaching courses with executive coaching, so people can teach you about some of the skills, how to develop your professional skill sets and things like that. As I said earlier on in my presentation, in terms of course delivery, the vast majority of our MBA takes place online. Okay. You'll have online lectures. These are recorded lectures which you can then download. You can either download and watch for 2 hours, for example, or you can download the slides, the PDF of the slides, and also read and learn about when you want. So you could read at breakfast, lunch, dinner, in the office, at home, examples. You will also have online seminars. These are live events. These will take place in small groups, and this will be at a specific time, maybe once every fortnight for 1 hour. It may be 5:30 in the evening for 1 hour, maybe on a Thursday or something like this. Okay. And to get connected with this, within the seminars, you'll be talking and discussing about issues that came up in the lecture. So if there's a lecture about corporate social responsibility, there might be a seminar discussing this issue. And this is an opportunity for you to discuss in your small group, but also with a tutor within that seminar about these issues at hand. At the same time, you'll have online discussion boards, and these are boards where you can have an interaction of discussions with your fellow students, and also self-guided lessons with activities and online readings. Very important point to say, lots of students always ask me and they say, Dr. Peter, do I need to buy some books? Which books do I need to buy? You don't need to buy any materials. On the Leicester MBA, all the readings, all your course materials will be provided for you online. Okay. On the other side of the screen in person, you'll have the opportunity also to take part in residential workshops and the Leicester Masterclass. The residential workshops take place on a 6-monthly basis. You have residential workshops in UAE. You also have residential workshops in Leicester and in other parts of the world. Here, you'll have an opportunity to come for a weekend and learn with your group together. And this is a way for you to gather your live hours, what we call synchronous hours of learning during the duration of the Leicester MBA. During the duration of the Leicester MBA, you need to achieve 120 live actual contact hours. And you can achieve this, for example, by doing your online seminars and online discussion boards, but also you'll need to attend some residential workshops in the Leicester Masterclass, which I'll talk about in more detail in a second. Okay. So in terms of in-person, we've got again the module outlined there. We have 4 residential workshops, 1 per each core module, and these take place on a 2-day weekend. I myself have been lecturing this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday, just finished, on the residential workshop that took place in Leicester. I know also there's a residential workshop taking place in UAE, and there's also some taking place around the world as well. The Leicester Masterclass is a 6-day event which takes place in August every year, and there's only one of these you only need to undertake one of these during your MBA studies. Okay, so you need to undertake 4 residential workshops and 1 Leicester Masterclass. Okay, the Leicester Masterclass takes 6 days at the University of Leicester. Okay. Flexible routes to achieve your required real-time interaction. So yes, in terms of achieving your 120 synchronous live contact hours, you would need to attend 1 residential workshop. So you could attend a residential workshop in the UAE. You'd have to take part in all of your live online seminars and also undertake the Leicester Masterclass once during the 2.5 years, or you could attend 2 more residential workshops. That's your choice. Okay, so there's some kind of flexibility in terms of whether you want to attend the Leicester Masterclass or whether you want to attend 2 more residential workshops. Okay. As a student at the University of Leicester, what kind of support do you have? Who is here to help you? I've just put down here modules, workshops, etc. When you're doing a module, for example, module 1, you'll have a module leader. This is an academic member of staff based at the University of Leicester, and you'll also have study group leaders who will be instructing you on the seminars and provide discussion and tuition in the study groups as well. In terms of the residential workshops, you will have a workshop leader who will be able to provide all the guidance, all the materials, advice and feedback for you during the duration of the residential. As a student at the University of Leicester, like any student here who is on campus, you will be assigned a personal tutor. This will be an academic University of Leicester member of staff who you will be able to ask questions about in terms of your study skills, in terms of your academic progression, in terms of wider skills about your academic development whilst a student at the University of Leicester. Moving on, in terms of careers, at the University of Leicester School of Business, we have our own career development manager, and we're also part of the wider university career development service. As a result of this, you will have very specialised career development support during your time as an MBA. As I said before, the career development management team have been developing executive coaching for you, a whole series of executive coaching sessions for you as MBA students. And this is a fantastic opportunity for you to learn with high-level executive professionals about interview skills, for example, negotiation skills, doing business skills. Okay, moving on, we've got libraries in the English language. In terms of the library, again, we obviously have a library at the University of Leicester on our campus. However, very importantly, the vast majority of materials which you would need whilst you're undertaking the MBA are available to you online. You just log in to your University of Leicester account and you will be able to download material from the online library. Finally, in terms of English language, as we said at the start of today's presentation, the Leicester MBA is a truly international program. We are aware of the fact that our students, some of them have English as a first language, some of our students do not. As a result of that, you will have the ability to engage with and receive help and support from the English language teaching unit, which is based at the University of Leicester. This is a teaching unit of highly professional English language specialists who can provide you help in terms of your English language, maybe not just in terms of speaking English, but in terms of academic writing English or business English as well. So this kind of support is also part of the fees that we charge for the University of Leicester's MBA. Okay, moving on to the next slide is trying to answer some of the typical questions we get from students, which is what's your typical weekly schedule? And to be honest, it's quite difficult to say sometimes in respect of we're all as human beings, we're all different. We all learn differently. However, on average, shall we say, weekly study time, we should say maybe between 12 and 14 hours. Okay. On a normal week, you'd have one online lecture. This will be a 2-hour recorded lecture, or you'd have an online seminar, which is a 1-hour live seminar. Okay. Followed from this, there'll be some online self-guided lessons. There might be a lecture or seminar discussion, and there'll also be some activities, case studies, exercises, which you'd maybe need to do online. And of course, there'll be some readings as well, which would be used to support the learning on the lectures and seminars. As well, you'd need to be maybe putting some material that you've learned or some exercises and activities that you've been doing. These can form part of your learning and professional development portfolio as well. Okay, so as I said, for some students it might be a little bit less hours, and for other students it might be a little bit more. But on average, it's maybe between 12 and 14 hours. Okay. Assessment. How do we assess our MBA students? In terms of the core modules, these are modules 1, modules 2, and module 3. We have midterm examinations, and then we have a final individual assignment. Okay. In the option module, module 4, you'll have a midterm individual assignment and then a final group assessment. In terms of the MBA project, which is module 6, you'll be able to have preparing, as I said, a business plan, or you could prepare a traditional dissertation, or you could prepare a consultancy style company report as well. Okay. Finally, in terms of the learning and development portfolio, which is module 5, you'll need to provide evidence of participation and reflection on learning activities, and also you need to highlight and evidence engagement in career development programs. So that's an ongoing module throughout the duration of the MBA program as well. Okay. In terms of entry requirements, what do you need to get in? What do you need to be able to join our prestigious program? You'll need a UK degree of a 2-2 or equivalent, plus 3 years work experience, or you'll need a recognised professional qualification and some considerable management experience. Next question, if your first degree wasn't completed in English, you'll need the English language requirements, which I've noted down here, of IELTS 6.5 or TOEFL 575 plus TWE 4.0 or 90 IBT, or alternatively, for a very small fee, you can undertake the University of Leicester's own English test as well, which is an opportunity, again, obviously for yourself to test your levels of English. Okay. Importantly, what does the Leicester MBA course fees cover and what doesn't it cover? We covers, as you said, all your required study materials. Okay. You'll be able to download all of these materials, which will be available for you online. It covers your attendance at residential workshops. It covers your attendance at Leicester Masterclass. And it also covers your examinations. Okay. Examinations normally take place at a local British Council office near to where you are located. For example, if you're located in the UAE, you'll be told where your nearest British Council is located, and you'll be able to go to that office at a specific date on a specific time to undertake your examination. What the Leicester MBA doesn't cover is accommodation at residential workshops and accommodation and catering at the Leicester Masterclass. It also doesn't cover travel to examinations, Leicester Masterclass, and travel to the residential workshops. Okay. In terms of fees, at the moment in 2018, the fees I think have remained at 14,210 British pounds. Excuse me. We fully understand that not all of our students might want to pay this money all in one go straight at the front at the start of their studies. So we've introduced a system where you can pay in 6 affordable installments during the duration of your MBA studies. In terms of application deadlines, as you can see, the application deadline is fast approaching. I think it's the 7th of August today. It's about 3 weeks from now, on the 30th of August 2018. Okay, I hope that's been useful. I hope that's been understandable. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for listening. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Peter. Very informative. And I'm going to respond to Ahmed quickly. Ahmed wants to know if the PowerPoint presentation is available. And yes, it is available, and we'll be able to send that through to you tomorrow. So don't worry about that. Okay. Yep. All right, so let's see if there's any more questions. And I can see we have, oh, here we go, from Helen. What are the benefits of doing this MBA in comparison to other MBAs that are out there?
Okay, good question, Helen. Thank you for the question. In terms of the wider benefit of doing an MBA, I would say this is important in terms of it's obviously a very prestigious degree award. It's also a recognition of learning and a recognition of understanding, deep understanding of what's required to be not only a manager but also a leader in today's world of business and management. So that's one of the reasons why lots of our students do MBAs, because they say we're in a position of kind of middle management at the moment, but we want to make the next step forwards in our professional career. We want to become a business leader. We want to get promoted into the next part of our career development, etc. So that's, I think, the reason why lots of our students want to do an MBA. Why specifically the University of Leicester's MBA? As I've tried to explain today, we've tried to make an MBA which is extremely flexible for our students. We understand our students who are based all over the world want an MBA program which is flexible to their work and to their life needs. They lead busy lives. As a result of that, we've provided this online program, which, for example, as I've been saying, you'll be able to download the lectures, you'll be able to take part in seminars which students enjoy, and you can do this at work or you can do this at home. However, also, as I've explained, you have the opportunity to do residential workshops, and you have the opportunity to come to Leicester as well to do the Leicester Masterclass. And this is something as well which our student feedback is very clear about, which is students also want to meet people in person. They want to come and meet people like myself and other academic colleagues at the University of Leicester who are teaching with them on the MBA. And also, importantly, they want to meet in person as well their fellow students. I've been doing a residential workshop in Leicester this weekend with MBA groups from all over the world who really enjoyed coming to Leicester, meeting their colleagues who they've been talking to online, on Skype, on kind of using the distance learning techniques, and then they've actually met in person and kind of found that to be incredibly important. And from that, as I've said before, going onwards, the development of networking as well going forwards as well. So that's why it's good.
Super. And Jarvish has a question. I do travel quite a bit to the UK. Is it possible for me to do any of the modules on a full-time basis at the campus?
Okay, good question. No, it's not. In terms of our MBA product, we do this, it's wholly distance learning. We don't do an MBA on campus at the University of Leicester. Our MBA is a distance learning product. If, for example, you come and join our MBA and you're traveling to Britain regularly, of course, come to visit us at the University of Leicester. It will be good to see you. And obviously myself and other colleagues of the university will be more than happy to show you around. However, we don't do any campus-based teaching. It's all a distance learning product.
Okay, and Mohammed's question is, I can see that this MBA is quite taxing. How many hours a week should I dedicate to my studies?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, as I said in the presentation, I'm very much of the opinion as humans we're all different, and we all learn differently. Some learn quicker than others. Some learn in different ways. So it's quite hard to say how many exact hours per week. As I said on the presentation, I would say probably between 10 and maybe 14 hours a week you would need to kind of set aside for your studies. As the MBA product, we provide a very thorough MBA because we believe it's very important that the learning you undertake in the program becomes embedded learning, as in it's very important you take it on fully, and it then becomes much more useful in your professional development moving forwards. So that's the reason why we have a very thorough overarching product which provides you a glimpse and getting to know and improve your knowledge of a whole wide ranging parts of business and management today.
Okay, and Samira's question is, I would like to attend the masterclass in the UK. Will I be able to get a visa? Will the university assist me with that?
Good question. Just so you know, at the moment, the University of Leicester's masterclass started this morning, and I was lecturing on it, which was good fun. So the students have just started it this morning in the 2018 masterclass. In terms of visas, of course, yes. As a university, we'll provide you with a letter of invitation. In the letter of invitation, it will clearly be stated you're a student undertaking the Leicester MBA, and as part of your studies, you will need to come to Leicester, for example, between the 6th of August 2018 and the 12th of August 2018, because you're an MBA student. You will then, as a student, and we always advise, obtaining visas can sometimes take longer, and especially in the summer months when people are going on holidays, can take longer than sometimes we would want and we expect. So we always say apply at the local British Embassy, British Consulate as soon as possible. As soon as you know what your dates are when you're traveling to Leicester for a residential workshop or for a masterclass, make your application for the educational visa. But I don't think you'll have any problems in receiving it in terms of that.
Excellent. And Mohammed's question is, I've just received a conditional offer from the university, and they have advised me to either do the GMAT or the essay. I prefer to do the essay instead of the GMAT. What can I write in my essay? What is expected?
Okay, that's a very good question. In terms of the essay, I assume you've been given a choice of 4 or 5 different essay questions, and then in the essay it will be, I think, for 2,500 words, and it's an opportunity for you to essentially tell us at the university what you know about that topic. For example, if the question is about how do you understand leadership, or how do you understand leadership in the world of business, we would expect you to write obviously an introduction talking about what is leadership, and then you could maybe use some practical examples about how you've interacted with leadership in your professional and management career to date. And then in your conclusion, you can talk about what are the different perspectives about leadership, for example. It's important to say is we're asking for what is your opinion about these things. We're not asking for lots of academic referencing. We don't want this to be a masterpiece. We just want it as a demonstration of what your knowledge and what your understanding about some of these core issues in the world of business and management are. After completing the essay and returning it to the distance learning team at the University of Leicester, you'll be invited to undertake an interview, which probably will be with me, the program director. And in that interview, you'll have an opportunity to talk about why you want to come and do the MBA at Leicester, which particular areas of the MBA you're interested in, and I'll also ask you about your essay in terms of giving you some feedback about your essay and ask your opinion and why you chose to argue in that respect. I hope that helps.
Super good. And Mokta's question is, what happens if I fail a module? I'm not planning to, but what happens if I do?
Very diplomatic. I'm not planning to, but if in the extremely unlikely situation that I do, what would happen? Yes. Of course, we try to be human beings at the University of Leicester, and we understand that sometimes somebody might just have a bad day. We all sometimes as humans have a bad day, and you might unfortunately fail that module. You have an opportunity to retake that module. Your retake would be capped at 50, but would be a pass, and from that you'll be able to progress onto your next module.
Okay, and Mohammad's question is, what do you think is easier, the IELTS or the LET, which I've been told to do?
That's a good question. I would probably recommend doing the LET, to be honest. I'm not an absolute expert, but I'd probably recommend doing the LET.
Absolutely. Do get in touch with your Stafford consultant. They'll be able to give you a bit more information about the Leicester English test. So do get in touch with us tomorrow. And Eve's question is, how far can the Leicester MBA help me in finding a good job?
That's a good question. As I said at the start of the presentation, we have over 12,000 MBA alumni who are located all over the world, and they stay in contact in terms of on kind of WhatsApp groups online, and they use Skype and telephones and email. They meet up as alumni groups. I was in Hong Kong about 2 or 3 months ago, and there was 140 previous MBA alumni at an event and talking about different business kind of networking things as well. So how far it can help you is being part of a group and being part, having the status of having the University of Leicester's MBA will help you firstly in terms of that's a status of prestige and it's a demonstration of quality. However, at the same time as well as a student, I'm very clear in terms of lots of things in life are always the same, which is how much effort you put in is often what you get out. So in terms of the MBA, you have a huge opportunity to meet lots of people. You have an opportunity to learn about lots of things. And as a result of that, the potential in terms of how that will affect your success is huge. So it's a real opportunity for you to meet new people, learn new knowledge, and it gives you an opportunity to move potentially to the next stage of your career and develop yourself professionally going forwards.
Good. And Ahmed's question, and I'm just going to condense it because it's quite a long question. Ahmed's question is, he's had friends in the past that have done this MBA program and have mentioned that some of the professors may have been a little too young and felt that they did not have the experience, and some of them may be a little bit too old and were a little bit impatient. What is the standard of the teaching professors now at the university?
Okay, it's a good question. So we can't be too young and we can't be too old. It's a good question, a very good question. The standard of the teaching across the MBA is of an excellent standard, I would say. We're part of the MBA program. Of course, we have external examiners who check on the quality of our program. The feedback from the exam boards in June 2018 from our external examiners was the levels and quality of teaching on our MBA was of an excellent standard. A second form of validation of our quality is the fact, as I said, the MBA is accredited by AMBER, which is a world-leading global accreditation body, which basically states if you're a member of AMBER and you have AMBER accreditation, this is a sign of quality of the MBA product. So you should feel very confident that the teaching and learning experience that you'll receive at Leicester will be of the highest quality.
Good, excellent. And Mohammed's question is, why are the face-to-face residentials compulsory, and what would happen if I cannot attend?
Okay, in terms of the compulsory element of it is, as I said, as part of the MBA, you'll be doing approximately 500 hours of learning in general, of which out of the 500, 120 hours of these minimum, so 120 or more, need to be what I call synchronous hours, which means in kind of normal English, live contact hours. So how do we count these? We count these in terms of doing an online seminar with the rest of your group, your MBA group. We count these in terms of doing discussion boards online and live. And we can also count them in terms of physically coming to a residential workshop, as I said, which you could do in the UAE, or you could do, for example, in Leicester as well, or you could do your Leicester Masterclass as well. So these are the reasons why you do them. For example, if you did a residential workshop over a course of a weekend, this will be 16 hours of synchronous learning. So during the duration of the 2.5 years of your MBA, you need to acquire 120 hours as a result. And this is a very key part of the program in terms of the accreditation from AMBER as a sign of quality. Is there must be a demonstration that the students receive at least 120 live contact hours.
Good, excellent. And Samira's question is, I have completed a postgraduate diploma from Canada. Will the university provide me with some credit exemptions?
I think not.
Yeah.
Yes. I think yeah.
Samira, unfortunately, the University of Leicester does not provide any credit exemptions. So you would have to start the MBA from the beginning. Okay. What is the purpose of CMI? Stafford has been telling me about this, but in your opinion, is this very important?
Okay, that's another good question. It's as I said in terms of the presentation, by doing the Leicester MBA, you'll receive 2 qualifications, not 1 but 2. So in terms of is it a good thing, I think it's a very good thing. You'll receive an MBA degree from the University of Leicester, and you'll also receive the diploma level 7 from the CMI, the Chartered Management Institute. So it's an additional qualification which we believe will be useful for you in your careers going forwards. As I mentioned, what is the Chartered Management Institute? It's an institution which tries to promote business and management education around the world. Again, it is a global organization, so it's an opportunity to develop into wider business networks. You have the opportunity to engage with and go on different specific courses in terms of developing your CV, learning how to do negotiation skills or presentation skills, some of these soft business skills as well. So as I said, you have the opportunity of being a member of the CMI during your duration of your studies and also for 1 year afterwards. So is it important? Yes, it is. Of course, receiving, I think, your MBA degree is probably number 1. This is probably the most important thing. But we, as part of our MBA, we also provide you with this additional qualification.
Excellent. And Hannah's question is, I really do love this MBA. I have noticed that the duration is 30 months. Is there any way that I can complete it in a shorter period? For example, taking 2 modules at the same time?
Hannah, firstly, thank you for the positive feedback about our MBA program. We're trying to please. Second part, which is unfortunately not. In terms of the duration of the MBA, it's a 30-year program, 30-month program, not 30 years. And why have we chosen to do the duration of this? It's because of the depth of learning that we have throughout the 5 modules. Okay, and the modules, it's important, as I explained in the presentation, they continue chronologically after each other. So you'll be learning about, for example, human resource management, and this will lead on to the core topics which you'll learn about in module 2, which are enterprise, operations management, etc. So It's a very common question. Students say, oh, can we learn 2 modules at the same time? But unfortunately, the answer is no. In terms of the program is developed so that the modules take place chronologically afterwards in each case.
Okay, good. And I'll answer Ede's question. Ede, with regards to local recognition, I do advise that you get in touch either with me or with your academic consultant to give you more details on that. The reason being that recognition in different countries may differ. So do definitely get in touch either with me or your academic consultant, and we'll be able to advise you accordingly. Okay, and where can I write my examinations? Because I do realize that there are some exams. I am in Saudi Arabia. Do I have to come to the UK to do the examinations?
Good question. No, you don't. As I said in the presentation, you have the possibility to take your examinations locally. You'll be able to take your examinations at your local British Council offices. The University of Leicester obviously will ask you where you live, what's your address, and from that we will recommend that you can take your examinations at the local British Council offices. And this will, for example, be on a Tuesday at 3 o'clock, and you can go and take the examinations there.
Excellent, good. And the next question is, I'm currently living in Jordan. I may not be able to travel to the UK to attend the graduation. How do I get my degree?
Okay. Firstly, don't worry. If you complete your Leicester MBA, you've obviously passed and you've completed it, you still obviously graduate. You do not need to come to Leicester in order to receive your graduate certificate. Lots and lots and lots of our students obviously come to Leicester. They go to the graduation ceremony. They might come with their mums, their dads, wives, girlfriends, husbands, and they enjoy the ceremony. They enjoy the celebration of completing their studies. However, some other students, as you say, might not have the possibility because of time, because being very busy, etc. The University of Leicester, of course, will send you in obviously recorded post your degree certificate, so don't worry.
Good. And Maria's question is, I understand that the residential workshops are compulsory. However, is the masterclass compulsory?
The masterclass I don't think is compulsory in terms of as I stated, in terms of what is most important is your demonstration that you achieve and attain at least 120 live contact hours during the duration of the MBA program. And there are different mechanisms to do that. One of those obviously is you're doing your online seminars and discussion boards, but also it would mean you'd have to go to more residential workshops. So rather than doing the masterclass, you would need to go to more residential workshops and add your hours doing that.
Okay. And Abdulaziz's question is there a break between each module or is it continuous studying?
It's a good question. It's continuous studying. So module 1 is for 6 months, and then module 2 starts, and that will be for the next 6 months and continues like that. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And Samira's question again. Will the term online distance learning be written on my certificate?
Good question. The easy answer is 2 letters, no. It will say Masters of Business Administration degree. So there will be nothing saying it's a distance learning or it's an online degree.
Okay. And Animaran has said that he does not have a degree, but he has got 10 years working experience within the hospitality industry. Will I still be accepted on this program?
I think there's potentially a very good chance. I think it's very important that you consult your Stafford associate, who'll be able to provide you guidance in terms of making the application to us at Leicester. And I would strongly recommend, in terms of the dates, that you make that application as soon as possible. And then we can look at Leicester, we can look at your application and then decide again, whether we want to invite you for interview to do an essay or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to add there as well, very important that your CV is extremely detailed, because that is exactly what the admissions department and Dr. Peter will be looking at. They want to really see all your roles and responsibilities in terms of management and finance and all the roles and responsibilities that you do on your daily basis. So please ensure that that is quite detailed. And that also goes for your personal statement, very strong personal statement. Why do you wish to do this MBA program? And so that's very important. But as Dr. Peter said, please do get in touch with your academic consultant at Stafford, and we'll be able to guide you on that. Okay. All right, so basically I think we've actually covered all the questions. I've grouped them all together, and we've managed to actually finish all the questions this evening, Dr. Peter.
Right, okay, excellent.
All right, so good. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. It was wonderful having you. And again, it was a great pleasure having you with us, Dr. Peter. And as Dr. Peter said, we've only got a few more days left for you to send your applications to Stafford. So do send those through as quickly as possible. There are limited seats available. And let us get that very important unconditional offer for you. Okay. Thank you again, Dr. Peter. Good evening to you all. And see you soon.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Helen. Good evening and thank you.